Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to be talking about how providers, therapists, BCBAs can adjust their session times on a Hi Rasmus session and send those adjusted times to their connected Aloha appointment. So we're going to be talking about how to do this through a session note. I'll also show you how you can control the feature if you want to include the times within a session note, but make it so that your users actually cannot adjust those times. So to start, we're actually going to start with our user privileges. So if you go to Settings, Organization, User Privileges, this is something that manager level users have access to, but nobody else. And you'll click on the role that you want to adjust this for. So in this instance, we're going to talk about behavior technicians. If you want them to be able to change their activity times, so their session times, the time they started and ended that session, then you would need to have this checked on to be able to change the time frame of their own activities. If you have this checked off, you can still include the start and finish times within a session note. They just will not be able to edit it. So the next thing that we're going to take a look at is a session note itself. So in order for all these times to be sent over to Aloha and be connected to the session note itself, the easiest way to do this is to include start and finish times within the note. And you can either have it so they manually enter those times, or it will default to what the session timer is, and then they can adjust it. So let's take a look at a note template. We're going to take a look at this direct session note here. You can see here that we have a start time and a finish time field. You access these by going to dynamic fields, and it's going to be under session. You can see we also have fields called entered start time and entered finish time. For those fields, it will default to blank, and then they will enter their times. For the finish time and start time fields, when you add those to a session note, it is going to default to the session timer. So now that you know how to add that to the note template itself, you can always preview that note if you want to. But what we're going to do is, so if you click preview down here, you can preview that note, but I'm just going to show this to you in real time with a real session. So I'm going to click save on this note, and I'm going to go to my client. And from here, we can see we have appointment for direct service. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start this session. I can see it's connected to my Aloha appointment. I can take data, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish this session now because this is not real. We just want to see the note. So I'll go through and I'll actually fill out all my fields on my note here. This is completely customizable, so you can have whatever you want on your note. And this is the start and the finish times. You're going to get a warning if it's 60 minutes off of the scheduled start. It's not going to prevent you from doing anything though. It's just going to show you this was the original scheduled start times. So I can adjust these to reflect the actual, my actual start and finish times, or I can leave it. Like I said, it's going to default to what the session timer was. And then I'm going to hit continue. And you can see here that those start and finish times that I just adjusted on that note wizard are now on the note itself. So I'm going to sign this note, and it's saved. And now you can see that the activity times, these are what go over to Aloha. They match what's on my note. And this is what is going to get adjusted on the Aloha appointment itself. I'm going to go ahead and remove this signature for right now because I don't actually need it. And I am going to click send now. And this is going to get sent over to Aloha. Now, one thing to note, when I go here into Aloha, I'm going to refresh my page. My times got updated. This is a different time zone, so it does look like it's an hour before what I actually put there on my note, but don't worry, this did actually send over correctly. One thing I just want to point out is I have my user settings here, my system settings in Aloha. Under clinical integrations, I have it set so that my appointment information auto updates their time per the session note. So we have that turned on. So I have included those fields within my session note. And then as I send that over from Hi Rasmus to Aloha, it's going to update to the times that I have in Hi Rasmus. So you need to make sure that you have this setting on, or your times will not adjust when you send them over from Hi Rasmus to Aloha. So that is just one thing to keep in mind. So if I had this privilege turned off, then the ability to update those times at the end of filling out my session note, it would just be grayed out. You'd still be able to sign the note, save the note, but you just would not be able to update the times as reflected by the actual session timer. So that concludes just how to include those start and finish times within a session note. Send it all over to Aloha and allow your users to be able to edit those times accordingly.